自分に嘘はつかない。ザ・ワールドを倒して過去の私と決別する。
古き遺物は新しき世界の礎となる。それこそが運命で、それこそが説。お前たちにもはや未来などない。ここが運命の終着点。その魂ごと消し去ってやる。
誰かに決められる運命なんてだっぴらごめん。悪いけど言えるのはあなただから。
青狩り主イズの憤慨は青の少女。お前の仕業だったというわけだ。
それだけじゃありません。一番はフランさんとザ・セリルがこうすることを望んだからです。
これもまた真の理想へ至らんがための使命。俺は必ず乗り越えてみせよう。学ぶ力と空の民に宿る力、破壊と再生を繰り返し進化する力。しかしそれは同時に未熟であり続けるという完全である星のための反逆な性質。太陽
楽しもうぜ。愉快痛快コッパみじんくらいだ。かましたらいいね。切りついた本気の試合だ。
俺たちは星の民により作られたつまらぬ傀儡。完全なる星の民は俺に学ぶ力を与えた。この性質により俺は進化する。この俺こそがガランザだ。飛ばすぜ足差し嫌いだ。回す
水少女の力を感じます。ハンドワードを壊さないと危険です。
こ きどれよしよし悪くねえほらよしよし悪くねえ
So I know I haven't used my microphone for this entire run, but I figure I'll talk about the build so that you guys can understand it because it matters. So I went with the Terminus build because, you know, we're doing the Immortal clear as well, but let's get a Terminus out of the way. On our weapon, we have Drain so that we can have some sustain. You can choose to take something else if you want. Guard Payback's okay. It does grant you an attack up buff, as you can see. Grants you 45% increased attack, but Gallanza actually has traits that's increasing his skill damage with an attack buff every time he uses a skill. So you're going to overcap this at like 5 stacks. It doesn't matter, right? This is basically Guard Payback is wasted because there is a buff cap. So you have 100% divided by 2. So you get a total of 50% bonus attack based on the buff amount that you have. So we're already reaching that cap. And then our right stone, we have a supplementary guts. This could have been a supplementary auto revive. This could have been a damage cap, auto revive or guts. It doesn't matter. It could have even been a cascade. That would have been fine. Guts ended up coming in clutch, but there are other ways. Like, for example, when I failed my first cards, I could have summoned the slime, and that would have prevented my death. I've done it in previous attempts. You summon the slime, you live, you deal damage, and then you build your gauge back up. But I wanted to make sure that I had my summon gauge filled to have the bar for the dragon in ads. Even though we whiffed and we didn't even complete what we were trying to do there, we had ample time coming out of phase 1. We had a really good phase 1, so we had enough time to make some mistakes, and that's kind of where we're at. Okay, so we have, as you can see here, we have 2 basic sigils. I did have a third. I opted to change it up a little bit to add in a few other sigils I'll go over in a moment. So damage cap supplementary. We have stun with lumen, stun with power. These secondaries could be in any order. This could have had the lumen. This could have had the supplementary. You know, this could be the damage. It doesn't matter, right? That part doesn't matter. Immortal Shell is what it is. Improved dodge with potion hoarder. Steel nerves with damage cap. Firm stance with fate breaker. Quick cooldown with Aegis unleveled on purpose. You'll notice our health is at 199, 231. If you go over 200,000, your Terminus loses the efficacy. Makes it bad, right? It makes it weak. So we put our quick cooldown at 11. I'll show you why that's fine in a moment. But the Aegis 11 is the important part. You could have had an Aegis 10 imbued on your weapon. That would have also been fine. Quick cooldown Ventus. Damage cap firm stance. Supplementary cascade. And then on my warpath, I have a quick cooldown. I also have a regen warpath, but the quick cooldown's better in this example. So this damage cap firm stance is on purpose. This supplementary cascade is on purpose. And this damage cap basically 3 attack sigils on purpose because we have our mastery traits to increase 20% attack per. While normally that doesn't matter because we're overcapped on most abilities, I did want to increase my SBA. So that's why we have damage here. So increases our damage because our SBA in Gallanza is hitting like 30%, right? So we increase our cap here. I think it's like 78% with Fate Breaker and with these buffs, something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but I was messing around on a dummy before we went into the attempt. So if you go over here, our stun doesn't matter because we you know, we parry the quickening, right? We just guard the quickening, block it, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the words are so interchangeable, it's a little weird in Grand Blue, but, you know, people call it parry. So you parry the quickening, and you get the damage increase. So the stun doesn't even matter because you're going to get the break that way. Lumen and Ventus for damage, it's free. Lumen and Ventus are free. You could have used Terra as well. Like, I could have popped a Terra in here. That would have been fine. But I opted to have the health to survive some card fails and proc the guts. Our damage cap is at 63 out of 65. Pretty decent. Supplementaries capped. We have our Echoes. We have our War Elemental. You know, those are where they need to be. Our Aqua and Fate Breaker in there. Aqua's pretty good. If you get a Link Time, so you'll notice we get a Link Time, and then we get our Flashpoint. It's a ton of damage. It's a ton of damage. And then down here, and going down to the second half, you'll notice we have the Drain for sustainability. The quick cooldown. So remember I said having an unleveled quick cooldown is fine, and that's because you have Sigil. You know, because we have Sigil Booster, our quick cooldown is at 44 out of 45. If you're going to choose something to fit in an extra survivability or damage, like having an unleveled quick cooldown, like no brainer, right? What were we going to pair with the Aegis? This is easy. Missing 0.6 is fine. Not a problem. We have Cascade in here. The Aegis, again, unleveled to keep us under 200,000 HP. Steel Nerves. 15% damage taken. I was fighting with this because for a while I was like, okay, well, I'm either going to take a greater Aegis and I could take off some mastery traits for HP, but that didn't really net me more damage. But this did because it allowed me to have an additional offensive sigil equipped to increase the SBA. Most situations you're not going to think about SBA, but I did. Okay, so Steel Nerves, 15%. Improved dodge. That's just going to allow us to, you know, enhance dodging ability to get out of abilities, which you saw. We used that dodge a non-insignificant amount of time. Steel Nerves just to tank some damage. Sometimes you're in Martial Spear, you don't want to risk the block. I mean, I did. I went for the guard, right? I'm like, okay, I'll try the guard. And sometimes it interrupts your ability, and if it interrupts your ability, that's like 30 million damage down the drain, right? It's like 100 million damage hitting ability on Martial Spear. So depending on where you lose it, and if it's during quickening, dude, that's even more, right? So Firm Stance, I did not want to be moved during any of the black holes. When I was doing a few other attempts, and just in general in other fights and other characters, like I'm growing on Firm Stance. I'm really enjoying it because it's annoying to just be pulled out of an attack that you're setting up. Potion Hoarder. This is a no-brainer. This is survivability, but you can also use blue potions to help get a link time so that you can choose when to link. Just keep that in mind. Blue potions are very, very good for triggering a specific link time because it adds a little bit of link gauge. The Guts, again, this was to help survive, but I could have used a summon to survive one of them. It would have been fine. The cards in the later half, there's 6 cards you're not going to survive if you're not an Immortal build because you do not have the true HP to survive. Mitigation doesn't really matter. Immortal Shell, no-brainer, right? Increased damage all around, a little bit of defense. It's easy. Stout Heart, this one's the 30% mitigation, and while, yes, Gallanza does have Stout Heart active, while in his deathmatch finale, after Silver Wolf gauge is gained up to full, and he transforms and rips the armor off, he has Stout Heart. It doesn't really say it, but it's just one of his traits, right? It's just how it works for him. When you have your armor on, which happened a few times, you do not want to be interrupted. So Stout Heart's very good. Otherwise, you're going to be interrupted while trying to fill your gauge back up to get back into your deathmatch finale, and then it's just like, why are you doing this, right? So you could run without Stout. If you want to run without Stout, I would recommend taking off Dashing Lancer and putting on Deathmatch Finale's skill so you can choose when to go into Deathmatch Finale and to prevent your Silver Wolf gauge from depleting. Sometimes I call it Deathmatch Finale gauge, sometimes I call it Silver Wolf gauge. Technically, it's the Silver Wolf gauge, but if you're going to think about what it does, it puts you in Deathmatch Finale, it puts you in shirtless mode, so let's just talk about it that way, right? And this does give you an attack buff. Again, like we talked about, as you're using your skills, that attack buff is kind of going to be wasted after you're at like 6-7 stacks, but it's still good to have. Tip of the Spear, not that great. You're going to get some defense out of it, but you're losing damage because you're not taking an ability that you're not taking a skill that's offensive. So what does it matter? As you saw, we were able to take all the damage anyways. Explosive Plunge. This does low to moderate damage, and it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it because Impale's going to give us gauge back. Martial Spear is going to give us gauge back on top of being the strongest attack we have that's not Flashpoint, right? And Dashing Lancer is going to give us gauge back, quite a bit of it. And Eye of the Storm has block frames So you'll notice that I used Eye of the Storm strategically for specific blocks. I knew when the world was going to do a ground pound, which is like a chariot AoE on the ground. It's like a red circle. When he was going to do that slam, I knew that Eye of the Storm would save my life. And when you come back from New World Order, he has this splinter mechanic where he like splinters the ground. Eye of the Storm's great there. And you'll also notice we use it at the conclusion of various arcanums. So like, if you like the sun, you can use it to block the frames of the sun at the end, or the star, or whatever, really. So it's very strong. It's very strong. Cyclone Skull Splitter. This is a terrible ability. It takes a very long time to execute, and it puts a defense down on the foe at the very end, and it's low damage. So if you take this, it is because you just like spinning your weapon in the sky. You want to feel like Hecarim or something, but it's not great. It's not great. Maybe in an ad fight against goblins or something, you can suck them all in, but you're gonna one shot them anyways. Doesn't matter. So that's my skill loadout. That's my gear loadout. You can see the total. You can see the total here. What you don't see on this page, is that we are proccing. And I'm going to move my damage cap. I'll just move it down here for a moment so you can see it. I don't like putting gladiators. I don't like that. I'm just going to move them. I'm very particular about this. I wish I wasn't, but I am. Okay, so we're going to move these so that now they read properly. Yeah. Okay. So I have my basic sigils up here. You can see I have two. So we have two 40% damage caps increased. Immortal Shells by itself. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive / support sigils. So we're getting the extra 30% defense that is additive with Fatebreaker and our 5% tree, right? So that's going to put us at 40% defense. Steel Nerves is here. That puts us at 55% defense. And then Stout Heart is multiplicative with that. So it's a pretty decent decrease, right? Potion Hoarder's in the second slot because it doesn't matter. If it's in the first slot, it doesn't give us anything. And again, you can have these secondary traits. All of these, every single one of these can be wherever. They can be in any of these other slots and it is fine. Not a problem whatsoever. If you don't have a Warpath with quick cooldown, it's okay to run one less quick cooldown. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Just run what you have. And you'll notice here we have 3 attack type sigils because we get the attack increased by 20%. You'll see if we go to remove it, we lose 11k. So we're just making good use of our mastery traits and trying to be strategic. There are better builds. This is not necessarily the be-all end-all. It's just what I went with. We will be taking down the world with an immortal build as well. While we're working on videos, I wanted to provide something for you guys. So this is a little bit of a yap. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for checking out the World's True Solo. I would have done it opening week, but honestly, in base game, I went for so many True Solos of Proto Bahamut on all the different characters that I didn't work on guides. And I feel like we've been able to help the community a lot in Endless Ragnarok. And thank you guys for watching the content and coming around, because I wouldn't be able to do this without you, right? Like, I'm inspired when you guys want to see these things and you're like, oh, wow, like, what about this character? And this has really helped me. Like, that motivates me to try really hard. But I did want to be a little selfish and do one of these challenges because I'm very, like, competitive by nature, you know? So I took the time out of my day to work on this, and we nailed it. And alternatively, on the side, so we're working on an SBA video to teach people, you know, when is a good time to SBA, how can you use it to skip certain phases, how to delay the SBA, because a lot of people will just, like, when you're playing in online matchmaking, you're going to notice there's a lot of people who will just spam the SBA, and it's not their fault. Like, technically the AI teaches you to do that, because if you SBA first, they're just going to instant frame one use it. It's the other way around, where if you use it last, they'll delay as long as they can. But that's like, we want to teach a little bit of etiquette on SBA to help your teammates, help your comrades. Also, the benefits of uplift and how that'll affect your SBA, because some characters have just really poor generation. Some characters have such good generation, you don't have to run any uplift and you'll still gap everyone. You're gonna come back around, you know? We're also working on a Fro build video. I want to teach people how to play Frau. It took me about a day to learn her, and honestly, I feel like she's one of the more complete characters. And when I say that, I mean, like, each of her styles offers something that feels good to use. Not every character has that. Some characters, you only play one style, and it's kind of like, but Fro feels really good to play. I like playing her. I like messing around with her combos. There are some, like, hidden combos in tech that she has that I both A, discovered, and B, had community members point out and be like, hey, you could do this. And that's like, oh, it's really cool. So I'm glad that so many people are able to figure these things out about the character. And she has such, like, dude, it's just, I don't know how to explain. Gallanza's my favorite, but Fro is really fun. She's really, really fun. So yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping now. I hope y'all have enjoyed the video. You'll notice that for once I'm actually showing the right stone on my weapon. And people have asked before, like, oh, what's your right stone on Twayun? And there's a reason that I don't show it. It's because I don't have one, because it's a meme, right? Because I don't really care. You're gonna kill the fights. It doesn't matter. Her dots deal such high damage that, like, whatever. Another right stone doesn't matter. It actually just doesn't matter, right? And then on our summons, there's nothing crazy, right? This is something that's replicatable at home. These are no skill caps over 100 or over 50. Sorry, but we did just loot from that quest. Oh my god, I was so happy. We just looted an uplift 80%. How cool is that? And speaking of chain burst, we just got a damage up on that as well. But yeah, we just looted a skill cap. I now have several skill caps over 50%. Just to show y'all, we have a skill cap 80 here, right? And then we also have another 80 and 100, I believe. Yeah, we have 100 here. So we have an 80, 100, and an 80. That's what we're rocking right now for things that are over 50. So that's not that many considering the amount of kills that we have, right? Considering the amount of kills that we have, 70, 51, 27, 37, and 83. That's a lot of kills. That's a lot of kills, right? And we've only got several over 50. So if you haven't gotten any yet, don't feel bad. You do not need them, okay, to complete the game. You do not need them. They add such a small gain. It's such small value. It might be like, oh, well, I need the 100. But if you think about it, it's like adding one more Fate Breaker, or it's like adding Incendo to your build. And then when you think about that, you're like, oh, it's like a 2% gain. I don't have to add like Incendo to the build. Think the same thing here. I don't need like 100%. It's okay. If you want to chase it, please go for it. It's kind of like what's keeping us playing the game right now is working on new characters and chasing the hundreds, right? Until we get DLC. So like, if it's your motivator, it's your motivator. But don't feel bad if it's deflating you, okay? But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys for coming by. Also, yeah, we have the surprise face reveal. Hi! So while we're here, I'm just going to show off. We have our nice little hot drink. We are going to be going into the cold weather soon. So we're going to have our hot drink on handy. And the controller I used for the run, it's getting drift on the control stick, which makes me really sad because it's a very special controller. But this is an Arcadian themed controller from Battle Beaver. They make really cool designs. We have 2 reprogrammable buttons on the back. I don't use them for this. I use them on Monster Hunter though. This button is bound to my circle because of old Insect Glaive. They changed it since, but I used it for Insect Glaive because your combo before is hold circle, hit triangle, triangle, release circle, and that's like such a weird movement with your thumb, so it's easier to just boom, 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 release. It's pretty cool. But nowadays, you don't have to do that. I think they made a button combination input. Doesn't matter. So I'm not really using the back buttons, but this controller feels really nice. My other controller is an Astrobot PS5 controller, but that one is currently synced up to my PS5. So yeah, hope you guys have had fun with your True Solos at home. The World is definitely the palatable one. The other fights, I don't think we can numerically beat the DPS checks unless you're abusing some damage. Like I think probably Percival and Fediel can take down Bahamut Versa. I think somebody actually already has taken down Bahamut Versa. I do not think Lucilius is possible at this time. Plus he gets a regen at the end of the fight. But maybe. It's the time limit that's kind of crunchy. Back in the day, like doing the True Solos of Lucilius and Zero, it's really, really hard. It's really, 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 really hard. So now I expect it to be hard for this one too. I haven't tried Defy Infinities Lucilius, but I can't expect it is possible with many characters, if any at all, right now. But hopefully in a patch, we'll get a little bit of a power increase, and we'll get a bump, and we'll be able to come back and do these fights. So I'm really holding out. So yeah, thank you guys for coming by, and thank you for watching all the content. I'm going to go back into the mines. We're spending all night. So Sunday, we decided to do a stream where we were playing with the community, and I made Monday my editing day. I wanted to take a little bit of a break to do this. We banged it out in an hour, so I think that's not too bad, right? All I really wanted to do was like, okay, when I'm playing online and I'm streaming, I'm like, okay, well, I want to read chat. I want to interact with you guys. And sometimes that makes my play go down just a little bit in consistency because I'm diverting attention. So I was like, you know what? Perfect opportunity. I'm in the middle of editing. We just took my dogs out. Let's just give it a shot. And then bam, right? It was no problem. We had like a 2% wipe, and then bam. So yeah, really cool. I whiffed before. I like misaligned my dragon. It's okay. It's not a big deal, as you can see from the run. It's not a big deal. I do recommend, if you're going to go for a true solo, you have a couple of options. You could bring a dragon that has an AoE. You can bring Lucilius, who can do cleave damage as well. And since the Doom card has higher HP, you can time your attack so that you're going to Chronos both the death card and the bubbles, but you'll also hit the big hit as you're filling the gauge on the death card. If you want to use Lucilius, you can do that. You could do slimes. I don't recommend using slimes on the card face, but you can use it because it's going to reduce your summon cost, right? So as you'll see, what you can do is you can use slimes to survive a card instead of gutsing out of that or just dying. You can use slimes to get out of that. And then once you're in the ads phase, if you have time remaining and you want to build some gauge on the first cards, you can do that because the timer on the mission is paused. There is a finite amount of time you have to defeat the ads phase, but the timer for the actual mission is paused. So if you didn't catch that, now you know. You'll also notice there are certain patterns that you can recognize for New World Order and stuff, like different. I just knew where to stand after you're doing it. It's like it's not that random. I think it's 2 patterns, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, it's Dawn Trail, so here we are. Yeah, so that's really all I had. I'm gonna go back into the mines. We're gonna do our we're gonna go work on our SBA video. We're gonna work on our Fro guide. Those are both gonna be coming out. I want to make sure. So PAX West is coming up at the time of this recording in a week. And I would like to have SBA video out. I would like to have Fro out. I would like to have Percival out. I would like to have... I don't know if I'm going to finish Seiphone because I don't feel good enough at him yet to make a video. I could explain the character. I could explain what he does. But I feel like I'm not mastered in the character enough to be like, yeah, do this. Right? Maybe we'll go over a Lancelot video and teach you guys how to keep your stacks up. I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. And then I might be able to squeeze in one more project. I might be able to squeeze in one more project. I meant to make the beginners video for Endless Ragnarok, and that's just kind of getting pushed and pushed and pushed. Maybe we'll work on that too. I'm just yapping at this point. You guys know I'm a yapper. You know I'm a yapper, but I have a lot to say, and sometimes people like to listen. So, and I like to hear what you guys have to say back. So if you want to spark any conversations, or you have any comments on anything I said today, or you just want to add something that you've found in fights that you think is neat, I want to hear about it, okay? But yeah, until next time, laters gators.